Good evening, friends. I extend hearty welcome to all of you this evening for a special session on how to face the examination. Friends, first of all, let me congratulate all of you that you are mentally prepared to take on the examination in May 16. We at Chandyok Adaptive Learning Solutions are committed to serve the students community to the best of our ability and ensure that they are able to write their examination under best of the conditions. For this, as you are all aware, that we have organized a series of webinars this time, and I'm sure it is going to be a continuous activity so that you can benefit the most. I'm sure this particular session would give you an insight on some of the various in-house things which do happen at the institute level and create a disturbance in your mind. At the outset, let me request all of you, please do not hesitate for a moment. In fact, if you have any query, any kind of doubt in your mind, please do not hesitate to ask. Because many times when we go for the examinations, we are having so many cloudy thoughts in our mind that we get really afraid of it. I think the CA examination is one of the most trickiest examinations, and you have to be really have the best of the confidence to face the examination. As you will know that as a Vijay Kapur, now currently the president and dean at the Chandyok Adaptive Learning Solutions, have spent more than 3 decades in the Institute of Chartered Accountants. And actually, I've been dealing with the students for so long years, and my last 5 years as Director of Studies were quite eventful. I've seen very closely the pain under which the students of Chartered Accountancy goes. In fact, let me tell you, it is my firm belief that CA students who reach at the final level, perhaps they work very hard in their life. In fact, I have always maintained any CA student who has qualified the first 2 level examinations, namely, first they qualify whatever is called as the foundation or the common proficiency test. After passing that examination, they put in their best and try to qualify the intermediate level examination with the name of IPCC. I'm sure any student who has qualified those first 2 groups of the intermediate examination and then reached to the final, I'm sure that they by that time have tasted the professional level or the professional nature of the Chartered Accountancy course. And by the time they reach to the final, they in fact get struck by the high level of knowledge which is required in each subject. And I'm sure that they try to experience it when they write the examination for the first time. This is a very general session. It may not be possible for us to differentiate as to how to prepare and how to face the examination as a first timer or a repeater, because it is our firm belief that when a student writes examination for the first time, I'm sure that he has put in his best of the efforts, because according to me, no student on this earth would like to take even a single % chance that you should not become a chartered accountant. And to achieve this, they try to put in their best of the efforts. But the results of the CA final have been quite disturbing and had been declining over the period. Through this presentation and through this talking, I think more importantly, I will take you through my presentation and try to share some of my ideas on the subject. But I would really encourage all of you, please, for God's sake, do not hesitate to ask a question, because it is very important to ask a question, whether right or wrong, rather than to be doubt till the last stage. In fact, it is free and frank opportunity given to you so that you can share all your ideas with us. And it shall be our sincere attempt to try to answer them in the most best possible manner so that you gain the maximum. In fact, I'll just open up my presentation. The topic for my presentation today is Demystifying CA Examination, Strategies and Techniques. As you will see in the presentation, we are trying to demystify how exactly the CA examination remains like an opaque. In fact, as you will see the presentation, now just have a look at the presentation. We are going to the first slide, where in fact I try to indicate that recently we had one of the very prominent industrialists who is a chartered accountant. In fact, he stated very recently, I think Kumar Mangalam Birla, you must have heard of his name. He said that he did not have the courage to tell my father that I did not want to study CA. If you go through his interview, I think it is quite motivational one, that he states that he could not say no to his father because he didn't want to do this course. Of course, he says that these 4 years were the most toughest years for him, and he spent quite a long time in studying these subjects. Let me go it on record and tell you that he qualified with a merit list in the CA examination. It only shows that with what kind of determination he would have written the examination. I think at the outset, whatsoever condition you are in, my dear student friends, the first principle of life is that you must be going through a lot of hard times, you must be under a lot of stress, you must be going through various kinds of situation. Doesn't matter. I think you need to remember that you must try to do your best and try to love whatever you do. In fact, I take you straight away through the statistics of CA final examination. Sometimes I wonder myself that how this statistics is being shown. That in that statistics you will find that in certain examination the result has been actually hovering. Sometimes it is going too low or too high. One thing which is very clear from this trend is that there is a declining trend. That means since 2003, the CA result, final result has particularly been coming down. And it is for both the groups, for either one group or second group, the result has coming down, declining on an annual trend basis. And somewhere we find there are quite sharp dips and going up. Suddenly there are sharp dips and sharp result is going up. Surely a student would ask a question that how this sharp dip and sharp thing has happened. Of course, we do not have any plausible explanation to give you at the moment, but surely we'll try to see what best explanation can be offered for the same. But the fact remains that CA result has been continuously declining. I, in fact, cannot offer a straightaway explanation for each kind of a result, but surely my only concern is that lately the result has been coming down. I did try to do some kind of a analysis that what exactly can be the reasons for this this kind of a process. So I will try to look into that why this thing has been happening. Let's first try to concentrate on what are the common reasons for failure. In fact, as we understand, if you look at the way our students study today, they in fact lack sufficient or conceptual understanding of the subject. Our students nowadays normally will like to rely upon very short note kind of books, brief summary in bullet type. They do not refer to standard textbooks at all. And in fact, according to me, that they actually fail to refer to the institute study material and practice manual. The students prefer to take shortcuts. In fact, they fail to consult any standard textbooks. According to us, even at the Chandok Adaptive Learning Solutions, we strongly recommend that student must study the study material or pick up a good textbook in the subject, try to understand the subject, and then try to prepare himself for the upcoming examinations. Having said that, I think what students actually do, that they actually fail to plan in a proper time plan manner that how exactly all these subjects have to be studied. As a student, actually what happens, when I look at that group of 4 papers in a group 1 or 4 papers in group 2, I try to associate myself with 1 or 2 papers whom I like too much, or some of the papers I do not like too much. Papers which we like too much, we tend to spend a lot of time. Paper which we do not like too much, we spend to cut away, or we try to go through the smaller and the shorter textbooks. Either way, I think one need to remember that if we are trying to do this, I think we are actually writing our own history that we will not be able to qualify the exam. We'll come out with this another how to prepare for this. And finally, I think most of the students have forgotten how to do the actually write the examination under the examination conditions. Now, these reasons which we have compiled here are the results of a lot of summary of examiner comments which have been issued by the institute from time to time. And in fact, for this we need to understand that what exactly the CA regulations tell about us. I think they clearly tell that first of all, there are 8 papers, and in all these 8 papers you require expert knowledge, and you are required to secure 50% in aggregate and 40% in each paper. Having said that, I think each student need to appreciate and must be clearly remember that you have to prepare for all papers of the group. For God's sake, please do not try to give due emphasis on 1 or 2 or 3 papers and prepare 1 paper just as a shortcut, because you know very well that even if you pass in each paper, still you may get 49% in the aggregate and then fail the examination. Second thing you need to remember, that the descriptive nature of the question paper. You have to write the answer with your own hand. The format of the examination is like that, that you have to answer to be written in the allotted time. So exactly we have to actually do the writing practice in a proper manner. Having said that, I think students also need to remember, and I think this particular slide makes it pretty interesting. And I think here, in fact, last of the question I expect from the students. Many of the students will try to talk in a very casual manner that institute is slashing the marks. Our institute is cutting the marks. Let me assure you all, my friends, that first of all, the marks have never been reduced by the institute. On the other hand, the marks are always increased for, and this is based on various factors, like based on the question paper, the kind of question paper is on the whole. The examination committee may decide to increase the marks. And now, of course, CAT is out of the bag. In fact, as a student, you can ask for your copy, and many times you will find that in your copy, the marks written are, say, 45, but in your mark sheet, the marks may be appearing 51 or 52. It can't be other way around. Now, please remember that this kind of moderation is done by the ICI depending upon various factors which can't be enumerated in this particular talk, but depending on the various factors, depending upon the mistakes in the question paper, depending upon the, say, hardness of the question paper, depending upon the fact whether the entire question paper can be done in 3 hours or not, depending upon that. But I think first basic fact you need to remember is that there is no predetermined percentage. I think one of the factors which comes across of the many students is that as if the institute has decided the percentage. Friends, let me tell you that there is no such kind of a standard barometer or yardstick for predetermining the pass percentage. Purely, it depends upon the circumstances, the overall quality of examination question papers, the performance of the students at that particular point of time. In fact, very interestingly, some of the students did ask a question to me, sir, if I don't write this examination from here, but write this examination from X place, would I score better marks? My answer is clearly no. In fact, there is no such mechanism where you will have the center-wise discrimination. And moreover, I think you will all appreciate that in this case, the fictitious numbers are allotted on the each answer script. The original roll numbers are taken off, and then the fictitious numbers are allotted. And sometimes it is quite likely that these examination scripts of the different centers may also got to be mixed up and then given to different examiners. And then, of course, there is a lot of effort which is taken to see the consistency and standardization of the results and the evaluation done by different examiners. So, for God's sake, do not be under any iota of doubt that any attempt-wise or center-wise discrimination is done. Another point is that sometimes students may say that does it depend upon the length of the answer? It's quite funny, you know. I'm sure that there is no relationship between the length of the answer and marks awarded. The basic fact remains that your answers must reflect the professional level at which you are writing the answer. You need to remember that it is not a simple university examination, which is simply your academic knowledge is being tested. It is the CA final level. It is a professional level examination where combination of things which are tested. I'm sure that your copy must give that look to the examiner that you have written your answers in the professional manner. While having said that, I think we can have various kinds of CA examinees. They can be first-timer, there can be repeaters, there can be dropouts. Without going into the characteristics of these CA examinees, I think what I would like to concentrate that how a student should go and prepare for his examination. Normally speaking, according to me, the initial preparation is very crucial while working on any subject. I think as a good student, you must be able to plan your study schedule well ahead of time. In preparing that study schedule, you have to actually identify that what kind of books you are going to select, what material you are going to do. You have to actually decide well in advance how much study you are going to do for a particular paper. So preparation of study will take a lot of time, and you will have to actually allocate a lot of time, study time, and then of course we've got the video lecture which complement your study schedule. So first of all, I think as a part of the planning, please friends remember, according to me, the first attempt is the best attempt. In that, if I consider my first attempt is the best attempt, I must be able to introspect myself that if I'm going to sit in May 16 examination, am I prepared to write that paper? In fact, I should be very clear in my mind. If I ask a question to that myself, and I'm very clear that I have prepared only for 2 papers or 3 papers, then I must be able to give a mock test paper under each of those particular papers before I come to a conclusion that I'm prepared to write for this answer. Otherwise, friends, the vicious circle begins. I'm telling you why we say first attempt is the best attempt. You do need to understand it very clearly that in that case, if I'm writing my first attempt, I will write as soon as I finish my paper. I'm surely that by the time I write my paper, I'm completely exhausted. Once I'm completely exhausted, I'm sure that I will wait for my results with a grand hope that I'm going to qualify the examination. With that grand hope, when the results comes out, 90%, normally we say 80%, but I think here the result is 90% of the time students are not going to qualify. It's a very bad day. We are not able to face that failure. Having spent a lot of our valuable time working for the final examination, when we see that we have not qualified, I think we simply get actually stranded for a time. We try to rush to our dear friends, those who have qualified, that what exactly they did, what exactly they did not do, and then start preparations all over again. When we start preparations all over again, and when we write exam the next time, friends, it's my firm belief that you do not spend more than 80% of the effort which you did in the first attempt. As a result, you are caught in a vicious circle. Even when you are writing your second attempt, what actually happens is that you become overconfident in certain examination. You say that, oh, financial reporting or auditing, I've secured 55 marks, so my preparation is fully up to the mark. I need not study at all, or I will just remember whatever I did last time. I think this is where you're caught in a trap, that overconfident in one or two papers. And most importantly, when we are writing exam for the second time, we are not able to actually look at our preparation in the fresh manner. I'm sure that in those 2 months, we are actually under so much of stress that we actually do not want to learn anything new. I think that is where again in the repeated failure happens. So friends, I think when you plan, I think you should plan it very clearly, which attempt and which groups you are going to write. You must identify and select your books and material in a proper manner. Regarding physical and VSET classes, friends, we are, I won't say that you never attend any physical class or VSET class, but the fact remains, you have to ask a question to yourself. Is it possible for a CA final student to concentrate with 100% attendance, run around for all kind of physical or VSET classes? Because you have no direct contact sometimes with the faculty. You are not able to actually clarify your doubts. You simply spend more than 50% of your time in commuting. And by the time you come back home, you are exhausted. And in fact, there is no actual preparation done by you after attending the classes for such lengthy hours. While one or two classes you may be able to, one or two subjects you may attend the classes, try to capitalize whatever you have done and try to complement your preparation with some other kind of a source. I'm sure that I think one of the biggest reasons that where students do not plan is the time management. They are absolutely work in an ad hoc manner. They do not prepare their study plan properly. They actually do not put down the timings which is required to be devoted for a particular subject. And I think, as the saying popularly goes, if you fail to plan, I think you have planned to fail at that very moment itself. I'm not here to tell you how the study has to be done, but I'm sure that one piece of advice to all of you, generally as a teacher, I will suggest it should be my earnest effort to understand each subject in a proper manner. But there may be some kind of a limitation. There can be some type of a constraint. I'm sure that in that case, in some paper, if you're not able to understand conceptually, I'm sure that then you try to adopt a technique so that you are able to write the answers in that paper. I will clearly advise you, and I think I tell it openly to my students, that for God's sake, say in the paper of ITSM, ISCA in the final, or say in certain paper, I must do lot of practice. I must do and write the questions 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, so that I practice writing question answer. By the time I have written the question answer for 3 times or 4 times, after reading practice manuals again and again for each subject, my connection between the various keywords in each answer would start emerging. I may start getting clarity. So for friends, my approach should also be examination oriented. And I always say there is also a lifetime to understand certain things. While I think writing for your examination, preparing for your examination, I think as a good student, you need to remember that when you are going to write your examination at the end of the day, you will have 1 day holiday at the most in each paper. How you are going to revise that paper? I'm sure that you have to prepare your notes in a very diligent manner. These notes should be able to make you understand the subject in a particular manner. So how do you prepare notes is also very, very important. How do you in fact update your notes is very important in the case of repeaters. Now in the case of repeaters, I would like to put in a word of caution. If I'm working for say 4 papers in a group, my request to them is that if they have prepared their notes for the earlier attempt, they should take out their notes. I will strongly recommend today at CALS that they must take our video lectures. These video lectures would give them a comfort level that in 50 hours or 80 hours they can actually listen to the actual video lecture. After listening to the video lecture, they can actually take out the new points and put those new points in the notes and revise the same. I'm sure that this will put them in a firm footing, you know. Having said that, I think before exams, I'm sure that during the first these 2-3 months are very crucial, you know. I always recommend that they should eat well, sleep well, study well, and for God's sake, do not try to attend any physical and reset classes during this time. If you're trying to do so, I think you are wasting your precious time. You have to actually maintain a strong balance, you know, between the study and the relaxation time. In fact, if you ask me in the number of hours, if I say today we are sitting on February 18th, even if I say leave these 10 days for the timing, we have got about 60 clear days for working on any subject, leaving aside 5 days for the first 2 exams, which we may utilize for the revision. In 60 days, I must assess my capacity and potential. And I will have clearly, I think, about 8 to 10 hours clear to prepare for each subject. So if I've got 600 hours in my hand, I must plan that how I'm going to study for these 600 hours and how I'm going to devote the 600 hours in respect of each subject in the group, and then accordingly decide my time plan. And I must try to encash on, if I prefer a group study, I'm sure that a group study is not a bad way of studying, provided it's a limited group and group which believes in exchanging knowledge, not just wasting the time of each other. So this is a thing which needs to be done. I'm sure that I always say that practice, you know, and if you have to write your answer many times, I think you must be able to do your answer very well. So this practice is very important, and this practice involves, you know, in fact, this is a movement of reckoning. In fact, say in the month of March, I must ask a question to myself: am I ready to write the examination? If yes, can't I pull out a mock test paper, try to write a mock test paper, and write my examination very clearly, you know? In fact, these 3 hours practice must be done in a very clear manner. We at Chandayok Adaptive Learning Sessions, as a part of the CALS course, you must have seen that in our course there is a built-in 3 mock test papers. My dear student friends, I think it is up to you to take advantage of those papers. In fact, the first 2 papers cover the first half of the course, the second paper covers second half of the course, and then third paper covers the entire course. Friends, in fact, take it very religiously. Please, for God's sake, try to sit down and write these mock test paper under examination conditions. Preferably, let me tell you that you can write this paper from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. That is exactly the time in which you are going to sit in the examination hall, you know. So I'm sure that if you have done little practice at your home in a comfortable environment, you will gain the necessary confidence when you are actually appearing for the examination. I think during intervening holidays, 1-day holiday, sometimes there may be bonanza of 2 holidays, I think your notes must be readily available to you. You must be able to pay special attention to the significant issues or case laws and have a sound sleep during that particular time. And I think this is where now I think during exams, where the test of the pudding lies, you know, taste of the pudding lies. I think it's very important that how exactly you are going to utilize time, 3 hours and 15 minutes. Friends, let's not forget the important aspect. Once you are in the examination hall, whether you studied for 6 months, 3 months, or whatever time you did, I'm sure that you spent whatever you in the preparation of that time, your entire preparation is going to be reflected in those 3 hours and 15 minutes. First of all, once you are sitting in the examination hall, the first 15 minutes, you take the deep breath, have the relaxation mechanism built inside you, And during those 15 minutes, try to go through the questions carefully. In fact, some of the intelligent students did tell me, sir, we don't go through the compulsory questions at all, because in any case, they have to be attempted. But friends, I think read all the 6 questions with whatever built-in options are there thoroughly, I think, once in those 15 minutes. Utilize those 15 minutes in prioritizing what exactly you are trying to do during that particular point of time. Second, once you are reading that question for the first 15 minutes, I think you need to understand very clearly that it is quite likely you may come across and you may feel in the first instance that you do not know more than 4 or 5 answers. I think that should not deter your confidence. Please remember that 6 average answers will fetch more mark than 5 best answers. Of course, at the time of the preparation, we also know that we may concentrate on 70 and 80% of the syllabus where we have mastered the same. It is quite likely I may feel that I am not able to answer a question. My still strong advice would be that leave 15 minutes for a question in respect of which we feel that we do not know a thing. Because sitting in the examination hall, will work under a great pressure, think under great pressure, and may be able to write the answer in the last 15 minutes. Accordingly, I think once you are writing your answers, you get the answer script. Please remember, I think, read the question for the second time. Once you are reading the question for the second time, and then you make up your mind and read the question in a very detailed manner at the third time when you actually start writing the answer. Why I am saying so? Now what happens? First, when we read the question, we feel, oh, this question is very familiar to you. It was done on the blackboard. It is given in the practice manual. This answer. By the time you have start answering the question and you finish up the answer, you realize that question has been slightly modified. And friends, not only modified, sometimes what happens, and this is our experience, that there may be a typing mistake in the question paper. Some valuable information is missing in the question, or some line is missing, or some line has intentionally been changed by an intelligent paper setter. So the moral of the story is that I must read the question paper third time very, very carefully. I should not be swayed by the feeling that, oh, this question I've done several times, I will do it in a very fast manner. No, gentlemen, please read the question third time very carefully before actually writing the answer. As a good professional student, once you are writing the answer, friends, you ensure that your answers are written in a professional manner. As usual, I think one more very important piece of advice I would like to give you, that many of the times there may be a mistake in the question paper. Friends, please, for God's sake, do not lose your confidence. State your assumptions very clearly and then attempt the answer in a particular manner. And then, because you should not forget the fact that all 100,000 students are writing the same question, the same wrong question is sitting in the examination hall. Once you lose your confidence and do not attempt to do the paper to the fullest of your ability, I think you are likely to fail. Friends, I think having realized this paper is being given to all the students. Every student is writing under examination conditions. You are not in a different position. State your assumptions very clearly. Attempt the answers in the best possible manner. And also, for God's sake, I think I always say that try to quote the section numbers, case laws, accounting standards names, auditing standards name. Do not use the short abbreviation, because IT Act may mean Information Technology Act or Income Tax Act. Actually, it is not clear. FA means which kind of FA we are talking, So friends, I think we should try to avoid using that. I think while writing the answer paper, I think you must follow the instructions very clearly. And I'm sure that I always recommend that for God's sake, revise your question paper last 15 minutes very carefully. I think you must try to highlight the most important points in your answer script, because you must ensure that examiner comes and closely at your answer script and then try to have a look at it. And this is what is required to be done, that always conclude your answer properly. If it is a descriptive question which is carrying a lot of marks, then in that case you must divide your answer with proper headings, subheadings, and then you are going on doing that answer. Having said that, I think I will take 5 to 7 minutes and try to share with you that what exactly we have been doing at Chandok Adaptive Learning. Friends, I can only assure you that we give you a lot of flexibility in terms of preparation. Friends, in fact, these are the lectures which have been prepared by the renowned expert faculties, and at the same time they have been reviewed by actually CS students who are writing their final examination, and they have actually become successful chartered accountants by the time they reviewed these lectures. And these lectures cover the entire syllabus of the ICAI, and the topics have been given exactly as per the ICAI study material. So friends, in saying 50 hours or 70 hours, 50 hours of auditing, 45 hours of ISCA, or 125 hours of direct taxes, or say 80 hours of say law, gives you a complete control over the subject. If you view these lectures, even if you don't do anything else, viewing these lectures in a relaxed manner in your comfortable environment would give you a fresh approach. And I think by listening to those lectures, you can actually update your notes and actually be prepared in a fresh manner. In fact, we are of the strong view that since you have to write and pass all papers of the group, perhaps these video lectures ensure that you study all papers of the group in an equitable manner. What we find, some students try to give more stress on one paper and less stress on the other. I'm sure that if you go through our video lecture in your comfortable environment, sitting at your home, I think you're actually going to gain through it. In fact, I can, before I request my friends to put on the video, that navigation thing, I think look at the wonderful testimonials we have. Recently, we had Ayush Sharma, who got 24th rank. And I think he's a living example where he stated that he was reviewed the lecture and then actually came through that. Akshay has been there. Mahesh Korala has been outstanding for us. Mohit Jain has been outstanding for us. I think Ashanya did very well. In fact, she was completely disheartened when she came to us. I think she's a very successful chartered accountant now. Arvind, Nikita, I think they all spent time with us. I think now and in fact, I think that one of the strengths of our CALS lecture has been that we have actually I think completely computer software driven kind of a situation where we try to bring through the best of the technology and media. We have recorded this lecture, and then on the top of it, in fact, we also provide a flexibility that you can always come back to us. Now, I think just look at this navigation film, the video of CALS lectures. Then we can have a look at that, and then I will talk about this. Let's have a video.
Welcome to Chandok's Adaptive Learning Solutions, CADS. Now we are ready to start the entire navigation of the software. First step is to install the software from the pen drive. My ebooks page would be displayed. Planner. This will help you to bring a discipline in your studies, as you would be able to aptly divide your time for all the subjects. Table of contents. Once your planner is created, you can start with the contents. Click on the subject icon to view the respective table of contents, that is TOC. Each chapter will have 4 content types in the TOC: video lectures, faculty notes, objective assessments, and practice questions. Video lectures. To start with the core study material, you need to click on the video lecture.
Now friends, how the board is constituted. 2013 Act says that every company will have the board of directors. And many number of board of directors, many number of directors.
All these videos have been recorded in high definition for better viewing experience. On the video screen, there would be 2 buttons: classroom questions and faculty notes. Faculty notes displays the notes related to the lecture being explained by the faculty in the video. Similarly, classroom questions button displays the questions that are being explained by the faculty in the video lectures for practical subjects. Faculty notes. This is a digital version of the notes. In case you want to write your own sticky notes, you can use the note feature. This gets saved along with the PDF, as well as a copy is saved at a central location for you to access with ease. You have the flexibility to draw, highlight, underline, or annotate on the notes. Objective assessments. These are either multiple choice questions or true-false type questions. After submission, the application evaluates the answers you have given and provides the scores for the test. Practice questions. These are the subjective questions related to the specific chapter. These practice questions also have suggested answers for you to evaluate yourself. Mock tests. There are 3 mock tests. Midterm assessment 1. This appears when you have completed first half of the subject. Similarly, you would have midterm assessment 2, which appears after you have completed second half of the subject. And the last is full term assessment, which you can only perform when you have completed the complete course for a particular subject. Once you have completed the 3 hours test, the solution to the mock test shows up for another 4 hours. Context menu. On the top left of the screen, you have a context menu. These provide various options for other features that are bundled with this application. With all these features and functions, we hope you have a wonderful e-learning experience with successful results. Let the class apart e-learning experience begin.
I think, friends, you had a good idea that how this software navigation works. In fact, the whole purpose of telling you this is that our course is completely software driven, and in fact, it is of great distinct use. Not only because it is giving video lecture where in fact you can watch the video in an offline mode, you don't require internet. And then we've got the mock, multiple choice questions. Then we've got the practice questions. Then we've got mock test papers. I'm sure that this is of great advantage. And on the top of it, from the Chandok Adaptive Learning Solution as a part of the CALS course, we actually continue to provide counseling on a continuous basis. In fact, we do provide to our students regular contact mails. If they've got any problem, they can write a mail to us. They can contact the faculty directly also. We are organizing these webinars on a regular basis. On the top of it, we are pushing all the notifications on a regular basis to our students. So our effort is that our students are up to date. So at CAS, we don't actually sell a product. We sell a complete package of services for our students. And let me assure you, friends, if any of you is facing any particular problem, they can always take the time and we can actually do the personal counseling for them. As a special case, in fact, we have got a value-added service that where, in fact, a students may write the mock test paper and we may evaluate the same and then actually telling where he is actually deficient, Having said that, I think, friends, if you have any questions, you are most welcome to ask any questions. I think one of the students asked a question that, sir, it is quite possible that institute is reducing the marks. And in my answer script, the marks were actually cut down. I think, friends, let me actually explain you briefly because this question is very, very important. And many students are hunted by this kind of a problem. Friends, let me tell you, it is quite likely that in a copy of a particular student, the marks might have been reduced. But please understand, please remember, this is a process whereby the institute has taken necessary steps to ensure that the entire evaluation process is standardized in a consistent manner. I think you will appreciate there may be 300 examiners in respect of one paper. So each examiner is required to send 10 or 20 answer scripts to the head examiner. Head examiner actually evaluates whether the examiner has actually awarded the marks in a liberal manner or the strict manner. As a process, he might have reduced the marks or increased the marks. Please remember that if the marks have been reduced in one copy, does not mean that the marks have been reduced in the copy of all the students. Friends, it is my firm belief, having worked with the Institute for more than 30 years, the Institute has no intention of reducing the marks in general and bringing down the results. The effort has always been there to improve the results so that maximum students pass. The fact of the matter is that some of the students, no doubt they work very hard, but their hard work is not able to yield the desired result because they are actually not able to emphasize all the subjects in a proper manner. If they have failed in a subject in a particular time, they concentrate on that subject but ignore the other subject. They are not able to review their preparation in a fresh manner. They are actually don't sit down and ask a question to themselves. Friends, I think we are there in the market to assist you, to guide you, to take you through a new journey where, in fact, if you opt for a video lecture, I'm sure that we are there with you and we will be able to provide you all kind of support. And it will be my privilege, I always feel honored that as a teacher, as many as students come to me, I think sharing the stories with the students, I think is a great thing to happen. Friends, of course, there are many things to be told. Few things I would like to cover very quickly. Friends, my personal request to all of you, for God's sake, if you're writing your examination on day one, and by chance the paper is not of that quality, you fail to give your best on that day, my friends, my sincere request to you is, do not consider of dropping the examination at all under any circumstance. Please try to give your best in all the days of examination and write your answers in the best of the possible manner. Who knows that if your first paper you are not able to qualify, you may get 20 marks, you may get 30 marks. Quite possible in the third paper you may get 65 marks. At least by that process, you'll be able to get exemption at least in one paper. Friends, it is very important. You should not lose your confidence at all. Always remember, please always remember, the same question paper is being written by all the candidates throughout the country under the same circumstances. Friends, of course, I always say very clearly that you must stay healthy. You must take care of your health. If I am not keeping good health, I am sure then in that case, my confidence level will go down. I will not be able to write the examination in a proper condition, and I may, under stress, I may break down. What is the use if I study for 6 months, 1 year together, and in the last 3 days or during the days of the examination, I break down? It's very important for me to relax, meditate, do deep breathing, and eat healthy food and write my examination in a proper manner. I always say that maintain your time for relaxation in a very, very proper manner. And I always believe that laughter is the best medicine. I think you must share good jokes and try to laugh upon yourself even during the examination days. It is not that you're completely shut off from all the activities of the world. I'm sure that you must keep in touch even with the current events during that day, because examination is something which is normal. For a student, everything is going to happen side by side. The things will not come to an end completely, but you have to balance out on everything. And I must advise friends that three things never return in life. One, that opportunity which is lost, if it is lost once, it shall never return in life. But friends, never regret if you have lost an opportunity. You wait for another opportunity to strike on your door. Second, time once lost shall never return next time. Utilize your time in the best possible manner. Third, the words which you utter. Once you have uttered the word, it shall never return in life. Finally, I think, friends, the moral of the story is, there is an English word, procrastination. Never postpone doing things in your life. If I have to study today my Ind AS, I must study that Ind AS chapter very clearly. I cannot postpone it. I will do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes, my friend. Friends, so at the end of the day, when I wish you all the best from the core of my heart for having a successful May 16 examinations. Please, for God's sake, evaluate your own strength, evaluate your own weaknesses, evaluate your own style of preparation. Please do not hesitate for a moment's time to write back to us. In fact, now we have got a toll-free number that you can contact us on our toll-free number, and then you can discuss with us at length what exactly your problems are. You can send an email to us. Friends, it is the professional counseling which we provide. We can also provide some kind of value-added services to you. Friends, our aim at the end of the day is that you become a qualified chartered accountant and have a good and wonderful professional career. Thank you, friends.